Welcome into Extra Time. Yay! Everyone's excited. This is the time to let loose because it's Extra Time. Paul Mariner, Raf Honigstein here with us. Let's start off with Joshua Patterson. Irish Pride is his name. Oh, wow.
Nice.
Nice little man. All right. He says, lots of turmoil at Manchester United. How has Ed Woodward escaped any criticism? He's the force behind the unsuccessful managerial reigns and lack of sparkle we've seen now for years. I think that's a good point.
I'll tell you why he's escaped criticism. Because his manager, Mourinho, continually comes out with the biggest lot of garbage you've ever heard in your life that makes absolutely no sense. And so nobody's taking any notice of Woodward, because they're busy trying to figure out what Mourinho's on about.
But even before this, with Van Gaal, a bit with David Moyes, nobody really brought up his name. And I know the manager always takes criticism.
Where have you been? Yes, they did.
Yeah, but not as much, he's trying to say.
Well, so what kind of levels as much are we talking here?
Like, he should be criticised possibly as much as the managers.
Why do you say that?
I'm just speaking for Joshua, because we're now
You don't even know Joshua.
I know Joshua now.
You don't even know Joshua, so how can you speak for him?
Who's signing the players, the manager or Ed Woodward? Who is the...
Edward. Ooh, you're
whatever his name is. Ed Woodward, then.
Edward. All right, let's let
No, that's
Raf
the actor, Edward Woodward.
Yeah, Callum.
That's for easy me to say.
All right, let's go to Raf. Raf, what do you think? Do you think Ed Woodward deserves a bit more criticism? Hold on, we're going to Raf.
Well, Woodward got under a lot of criticism when he brought in the likes of Angel Di Maria and Martial for all this crazy money. But I think right now it is very clear that Mourinho calls the shots on all areas. So I think Woodward is just following orders. Mourinho went a little bit political, saying he wanted 5 players, Woodward only got 4. But I think it's pretty hard to say he is the one to blame, especially since they signed Sanchez in the January window to give Jose what he wanted. So I don't see how he deserves criticism this year. Maybe in the past, yes.
Stevie, you're allowed to speak again.
It's too late now.
It's never too late. We've got extra time.
Well, we should have a prize.
For what?
If there's anybody young enough watching this Extra Time who knows who Edward Woodward played
Edward Woodward
in the 60s.
He was a very good actor. He was a terrific actor. He was a detective.
Yeah, see? He was a detective.
No, he was. He was very, very good. But Ed Woodward, he's been told to sign. He's been told to sign these players. He's getting the players in. It's the manager who picks the players, surely. Otherwise, the game's gone mad.
So the criticism is rightly targeted towards Mourinho.
Absolutely.
At least now.
Aye.
All right, well, hope that answers your question, Joshua. Let's move on now to Bavarian FB Works. Ooh, This sounds like Raf's going to have to come in. He wants to know, is Thomas Tuchel the best candidate to succeed Jupp Heynckes at Bayern Munich after this season? If not, who do you think they'll go for?
Well, I believe he is the best candidate. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, the executive chairman of the board, believes he's the best candidate. Uli Hoeneß, the president, is less sure, and that's why we're at this impasse. There's also 1 or 2 players that Tuchel has worked with before who are not that keen on him. He left a lot of burnt bridges behind at Dortmund. So right now, they feel that he is the best candidate when it comes to his experience, his tactics, all the things he brings to the table. But I'm not so sure about his man management after what went down at Dortmund. I still think he's the most likely candidate, especially since there isn't really a viable alternative who's out of contract. He's the guy waiting for a phone call on a sabbatical.
Stevie, want to weigh in?
It's Tommy's tennis balls. Tommy's tennis balls. And he's training right
That's where it all went wrong.
That's where it went wrong.
Listen, let's be honest. What did he do at Dortmund to suggest he should be the next Bayern Munich manager unless it's the tennis balls?
You know what's
Come on, Raf. Got to be that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I don't think anyone remembers that story, but he made Mats Hummels carry 2 tennis balls during training so that he couldn't touch or pull the shirt of an opponent. And he had all these ideas. It's called differential learning, apparently, where you make it very hard in training by saying you can only play with your left, you can only play with your knee. And then in the game, this is something that Barcelona do as well. In the game, suddenly you feel, oh, I don't have tennis balls, I can actually play, and you feel kind of things work better for you. But I think it's a bit unfair to say that's the only thing that he did at Dortmund. I think Dortmund had a fantastic season under him in his first year. They won the cup in his second year, and he's a pretty good manager. And I think he's the best candidate still.
The one thing,
Stevie's jaw just hit the floor.
What did you call that? Differential, what?
Differential
was that?
training.
Differential learning.
Oh, learning.
So if I put a hat on in training and then during the game, I'd be like, oh, wait a minute. I can head the ball without having a hat on my head.
Yes.
No, if you've got
It'll
a hat
make you
on,
play better.
but if you have a hat on your head, you don't want
Do you
to
know
head
what
the
we used
ball.
to do? What we used to do in training.
It's true.
What we used to do in training, right? We never used the ball.
What?
We never used the ball.
At Liverpool.
You just simulate.
No, because
You were useless.
Because if they didn't use the ball between a Monday and a Friday, on Saturday,
You'd really
they'd be
want to
absolutely
use the ball.
desperate to get the ball, and they'd all chase after it better.
No.
That is differential
That
training.
is the biggest load of
Learning.
That is
rubbish
differential
you've
training.
ever said.
Have
By
I
the
ever-
way,
have I ever heard that?
the one thing that rules Tuchel out about this Bayern Munich, which I know very little about, is when Ralph said about his man management is really poor. So if he goes to Bayern Munich with bad man management skills, he's doomed. He's doomed, I tell you.
Bad man management.
Man,
Raph?
Yeah, I mean, there is a real concern, and there's a concern that he will not embody this family spirit, all the things that Jupankis does so well, where he's like the uncle, he's the patriarch, he's the guy that everybody respects, and also knows what he's doing. But with Tuchel, I think what Rummenigge is saying, who's very cold and he sees things in very pragmatic ways, he says, for 2 years, it doesn't really matter if he drives everybody crazy. He'll improve the team. They will play interesting, tactically sophisticated football, and then we'll get somebody else in anyway, because no managers last that long. So it's between those two approaches, Hoeneß with his big idea of Bayern as a family, and Rummenigge just saying he's a very good manager, we don't have to worry so much about the other stuff, where the conflict lies at the moment.
All right, we're going to wrap things
that's
up
it then.
there. I know,
He's
that's
got
it
it,
then.
that's it.
Interesting times there.
Done and dusted.
Bayern Munich, indeed. Make sure to tune into tomorrow's show. That's Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN News. And make sure to stream it live as well if you can't get to TV on the ESPN app.